What's up, witches? It's me, Luna. I'm here for an unboxing for you today. And another US Games deck that has been on my list for a while that I finally added. This is the new Palladini Tarot. And this is by David Palladini, who is the author and artist of the Aquarian Tarot. This absolutely glorious Art Deco masterpiece. And look at this artwork. Absolutely so appealing. And there's the chariot. Look at that. Wow. Okay. A tool for introspection and a mirror for one's development, this beautiful and original 78-card tarot deck by David Palladini encompasses many artistic styles and diverse images. Created and illustrated by David Palladini. This is 1996 was the first edition. This one is 2011. And again by US Games. With your typical tuck box, which I shall give the tape treatment to. I mean, you look, I haven't even been using this and it's already wearing at the corners here. So yeah, it will get taped up. Here's the little white book. Very small. All right. I'll read a little bit. My first contact with the tarot was rather sudden. A man walked into my painting class at art school in New York and asked me to design a tarot deck for his publishing company. I had no idea what the tarot was, but art school was expensive, so I accepted his commission and set off to learn. The Pictorial Key to the Tarot by Arthur Waite became my guide as I created the Aquarian Tarot deck. Well, you are my hero, Mr. Palladini, because Mr. Waite's book is dense, language-wise. I was a young emerging artist, and the task of doing 78 full-color paintings was daunting, partly by acquired knowledge, and partly by intuition and artistic insight. I was able to realize an updated version of this ancient idea for the Aquarian age. That was 25 years ago, and thankfully since then, many people have utilized my cards to enhance their lives and extend their awareness. But in those 25 years, as I gained more knowledge of those things which lie outside the normal realm, and as I matured as an artist, I began to conceive of a new Palladini Tarot, one which might bridge the ancient and the future. I wanted to create a deck which was both beautiful and powerful, ancient and modern. Thanks to Mr. Stuart Kaplan, I have been given the opportunity to create this new tarot. I hope that those of you who know my Aquarian Tarot will find this new deck equal to it in beauty and magic. Okay, and he goes on about the artwork. I have rendered the 78 images of the tarot in ink, magic marker, and pencil on rag paper. Each drawing is 10 inches by 16.5 inches in the original form, and is the result of many months of research and execution. I've combined elements of medieval, illumination, Egyptian, and modern art in my own style. Oh, illumination, like, manuscript illumination. I've tried to represent all races in the faces of the cards, as well as all important religious symbols. I was influenced by the idea that the tarot must be universal in both content and power. Good luck with that. Many artists over the centuries have created artwork for the tarot, and many writers and researchers have studied it, leading to various approaches and general confusion and obscuring of the central themes. I do not profess to be any more right or wrong than my predecessors. I can only hope that the beauty of the artwork can earn forgiveness for any inaccuracies of symbolism. I appreciate that. Okay. The tarot deck is not meant to predict. This is the introduction now. But to give insight. The knowledge suggested by a particular card in a particular position is valid and valuable only as far as one can see into oneself. Yeah. You can easily dismiss a card or even a whole reading if you're not ready to accept it through fear or lack of self-awareness. The tarot has suffered much through history because it requires such deep insight on the part of both the reader and the subject. Any lack of faith or shallowness of purpose will pervert the deck into a party game or worse. I remember as a child my Italian parents playing card games with their friends using a strange set of cards from northern Italy. They had pictures of rods and coins and swords on them and were called tarocchi. So debased had the tarot become that it was being used in France and Italy for vulgar games of wager and chance. The tarot had gone from priestly meditation and the hands of kings to the smoky din of the tavern. Okay, use the cards for a reason. It says, don't ask about fame or fortune or prospects of marriage and such. These are temporal things of the material world, and their appearance in your life is as much a product of hard work and perseverance as anything else. Rather, ask more deeply and seek the central meanings of the cards and their relation to you. Tarot is not a religion, but it contains elements of all religion and spirituality. Tarot is not magic, neither black nor white, but it contains magic, and in the hands of a magician or healer, it can impart something indefinable. Tarot is ancient, but perhaps not so ancient as one might think, thanks to the muddy track of archaeological history. But I do hope this deck will help you along your road, and pray the artwork will lead you to deep meditation on the important things in life. Then it has when to do a reading, and then the meanings of the cards, and then we go straight into the majors. So we've got a description, and then meanings, a list of keywords, and reverse. So we're very traditional here with the little white book. And then we go to the minors. And then if we look at the back, we see a Celtic cross. So this is a very traditional little white book from US Games. And now to the artwork. So we have a facing card. And then we have, look at the back. Obviously non-directional. There's something on there. It's like there's water spots or something. It's like dusty. That's very strange. All right. As the creator of the new Palladini Tarot, I have tried to infuse as much magic and true meaning as possible into the artwork, but these subtleties will only become apparent and useful after careful and patient introspection. Each door which opens reveals more doors to be opened. Each road traveled leads to more roads and choices. Each new piece of knowledge gleaned from the cards leads to greater knowledge. Remember, your personal input is very important to the successful use of the tarot cards, and intuition and sensitivity are paramount. The cards can only be a tool of introspection, a mirror for one's own development, an occasional counsel and help. That is the spirit in which I wish my decks to be used, not as a substitute for spirituality, but as an enhancement of belief and faith. And spirituality, because spirituality, what's the difference between religion or faith and spirituality? Spirituality is internally referenced. You base your spirituality on the things that you have gone through in your life. And again, I'm seeing like these dusty water spotty things on the back. Very strange. So, at any rate, here we go. Here is the Fool with the big turban, and again, that absolutely gorgeous art style. So you see the edge of the cliff, you see him holding the rose, and he's got a flowering wand over his shoulder, not the little, kit bag. And the sun shining, no little animal nipping at the heels. Then here's the Magician. Very recognizable. I love like the mail, chain mail almost that he's got on. And just these beautiful embellishments on the outside. And she's the High Priestess. See, I looked at that and I did not see, that did not read woman to me. Even though clearly it's the High Priestess. We've got the two columns, Boaz and, I can't remember. Okay, Torah. Kind of a equal armed cross there. And the veil, and here's the Empress. Look how beautiful. The soft faces. There's the really detailed, everything outlined kind of details. But then we've got the flowing quality of like Art Nouveau. So we're kind of straddling that Art Deco, Art Nouveau line, and they're just beautiful. There's the Venus symbol. Here's the Emperor holding the orb with the ram's head. The colors are rich, jewel tones, my preference always. Here's the Hierophant. There's a little crescent moon there. It almost looks like he's got a castle built on top of his head. And here are the lovers, so soft. You see this snake in the tree. Look at these little orbs like. Okay, gonna look to see if he describes things that we're seeing. So we see a man and a woman in a garden. The sun shines radiantly overhead. Behind the man is the tree of life, bearing 12 fruits. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is behind the woman around which twines the serpent. The figures represent Adam and Eve, full of youth, virginity, innocence, and love. This is the card of human love, as part of the way of truth and life. He is strong and watchful, and she wears the expression of the sensitive life. So we don't see what these little like orbs are that are in her hair, sort of. Huh. And here's the chariot. I love this face. It's like I recognize this dude, but I don't know who he is. And we don't see horses, or, we see the upraised sword, but we really don't have the imagery that's on the chariot, which shows the man, the horses, the sphinxes, drawing him forward, but he's not holding the reins. Interesting choices. Look at that. Strength. It looks like she's wearing this lion's head. Look at the pears growing. Very beautiful. The hermit. I love his faces. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Justice. Yeah. The medieval style dress. With scales in the front. And we have coins, and we have, it looks more like a leaf than a feather. Fascinating. Here's the Hanged Man. And, it makes me sit and think, okay, what's the money worth if it's not outweighing even this very tiny leaf? So again, the Hanged Man. A lot of light coming in. And, to show light, you have to have darkness. And it's beautiful. Look at Death. Ugh. I've never seen this whole deck. I mean, it was published in 1990. What was it? 96? And I've been aware of it for all those years, but I have never seen the images. Oh, gorgeous. Temperance. And the devil. So we don't show two humans. We just show the devil. Looking very Balrogish, sort of. He's holding that chain. And look, it's smoking in his hand. Wow. So this is a deck that you're going to just hit the ground running with if you are familiar with Waite-Smith. There's the Tower. Again, we have no people falling from the tower. The Star. Interesting chestal configuration there. I'm not real sure what the... Yeah, interesting is what I will say. Lots of birds. Look at the moon. Ooh. That's gorgeous. And the sun. I mean, look at them next to each other. They're beautiful. They're high impact cards, that's for sure. Here's the Last Judgment. They just, the images really jump out at you because the coloring is so rich. Here's the World. And there's a lot of contrast between the light and the dark in these cards. We have 4 birds in the corners. We don't have, he's talking about the symbology, but wouldn't it have been an important thing to do the symbols of the 4 fixed signs, which is very traditional? Since you've included creatures in the 4 corners, why not use the traditional ones? Oh, and then we're going backwards. Here's the King of Swords. The Queen. Oh, look at her face. This is the card of the wounded woman for me. This card shows to me the intellectual prowess that is needed in order to sort of armor yourself against anticipated trauma, against old trauma. This card can be a call to take the armor off. Here's the Knight of Swords. Wow. God, they're just gorgeous. It almost looks like a nautilus there, you know. The shreddy clouds, I like that. And there's the page. Looking kind of curious and kind of dense. There's the 10. The 9. Very familiar. Here's the 8 with the blindfold. Thank you. I find the blindfolds very significant, and I get kind of grumpy when they are not included because, you know, there's that element of denial or that element of closing off the outside world. Here's the 7, the thief. The 6, I'm also noticing that he's changed the direction of things. I'm used to the 6 going that way, and I'm used to the thief going that way. Yeah, fascinating. And it does have an impact. You know, if you're used to seeing things, or this is an opportunity to kind of look at how you are oriented mentally. They do this in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, just to sort of identify how your mind is oriented, and then you can choose images that will have the greatest impact for you. For instance, if you think about a line going from the past to the future, what does that look like? Does it go left to right? Does it go here forward? Is it slanted some way? How does your mind visually conceive of past, future? And so however cards are oriented, because this can, when I'm doing a reading, I usually consider the left side being towards the past, the right to the future. So if this card comes up and it looks like it's heading into the past, there can be some information there when you're reading intuitively. Here's the 5. Nobody else in the image again. So we're paring down the people that are in the images. There's the 4 of Swords. God, they're just beautiful. There's the 3, very recognizable. I love the rain pouring down. The 2 of Swords. And look at the cards where we have these shreddy clouds with a little crescent moon appearing in the background. Are these all the swords? Fascinating. Every one of these swords cards has a little crescent moon in the sky. They're all nighttime cards. Let's see if he mentions this. He does not. Suit of Swords, and it goes right in. Let's see. I don't think he mentions that about the artwork. All right, well. Interesting choice. We will pay attention for the rest of the suits. So there's the 2 with the blindfold. Thank you for that. There's the Ace. Absolutely gorgeous. Now we have the King of Rods, and it's nighttime, but look at the full moon. Wow. Oh, and here we have an eclipse or a very, very new moon. Absolutely fascinating. No moon at all there. Night, and none there for the page. Interesting, the choice of green for rods. I understand it like a growing, blossoming rod, but not in terms of element, you know, the element of fire. There's the 10, the 9. We don't have any indication of wounding. There's a tiny crescent moon. Here's the 8, again going a different direction with the, I mean, this is the barest, I don't know if you can even see it, sliver of a moon showing, which may indicate new moon, and then nothing here, 7. There's the 6, the 5, a definite crescent moon there, and yes, we see that they are younger. Kind of like a knight watching over the kids that are having at it and playing at being knights. There's the 4 of Rods. That's beautiful. The 3. Again, a crescent moon. So we do see the ship setting off. The 2. looking out, and the ace. I can't wait to see, and now we're in daytime. Cups are daytime. So there's the king. There's a little fish jumping there. The queen. Ah, look at that. That kind of blissful look that she's tuning in, and the jewel at the third eye. I appreciate that. Oh, that's Gilbert. There's the knight and the page. Then we have the 10 of cups. Look at this gorgeous rainbow. The 9, self-satisfaction, abundance. And again, we're at nighttime. Huh. And here's night with a full moon. The 8, the 7. Oh, look how beautiful. This is great to see it really focusing on the cups and what's in them. This beautiful blooming plant, a rainbow, a sun, a moon, a serpent, fire, and water. Wow. And then kind of an echo of this, here's the 6 of cups. So we don't get any idea of like memory and the handing down of things. Again, interesting choices. There's the 5, very familiar. So, you know, from this card to this, we see an incredibly readable, familiar image in the Waite-Smith system, and then an image that if you didn't have this, well, you could count the cups, but very easy to mistake perhaps for the 7. There's the 4. The 3 lovely ladies. The 2. And the ace. Here's the King of Pentacles. So there's like daylight, but the night is the king himself and the little moon. And then the queen. How interesting. I'm terribly curious, as you can imagine. All right. We see the silhouette of a strong-crowned man. Inside his head is the cosmic universe with a jeweled pentacle floating therein. He is the king in contemplation of all that exists. The queen, the silhouette of a beautiful crowned queen who contains the universal contemplative pentacle. Very interesting. There's the knight. Again, we're in daytime, the page. And here's the 10. The 9. Woman, bird, grapes. That fills the form. There's the 8. The 7. The 6. So instead of the people, you know, payments and debts, loans, donations, charities, stuff like that, we get this scale of pentacles. And it's nighttime again. And then there's the 5. Oh, look. Look at the snow. The 4. The 3. Again, we only have one figure, so we kind of lose that idea of collaboration. The 2 and the ace. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. I'm looking forward to shuffling these, but we got to give it a blessing first. Yeah, it's been very interesting to go through. It's just the artwork alone. I mean, if you are a seasoned reader and you already know, you know, the world that you're in with the cards, I think this deck would just be delightful. Just the images are they're such a treat. They're really luscious. So by air and fire, may you be purified and charged. I'm going to take those away. And water, and earth. May you be blessed and made whole. And by the sound of the bell, may any negativity be cleared and may the spirit come in. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you for this wonderful tool. And thank you to the artist and author, David Palladini, for 2 absolutely gorgeous decks. A delight to the eyes for sure. Thank you for being here and helping me interpret these messages. And I offer you fresh water, and I offer you the fire of Azrael to bring in the spirit of divination. It smells so good. Let's have a shuffle. No qualms whatsoever about shuffling this deck. This is what a tarot deck should be like, in my estimation, as far as cardstock. This is it, folks. What do you need? What else would you possibly need but a deck that's easily shuffleable? So we will do several riffles to get a good random, and then we will cut. And I'm just going to do my usual 6 card that I've taken to doing in live streams. I don't know where this particular spread came from. There's no categories to it. It just was something I started doing. All right, let's cut now. So I ask for a message for all of you, for the collective. But that by no means precludes you getting a personal message that resonates. So I hope that that happens for you. Oop. All right, so we're going to stop shuffling now. And we get, oh, how interesting. All right, we're going to go this way. 6 of rods, 6 of pentacles, and the 3 of rods. All right. Five of rods, 9 of cups, and the 4 of cups. All right, so we don't have quartz and we don't have majors, but we will we'll add those. Let's get through the initial interpretation here. Okay, so the top line, we've got the 6 of rods in the middle, but we've got a 6 and a 6. And 6 is, gosh, I wish I had a handy reference right here. I don't do numerology, and the study of tarot, as far as, you know, all of the 2s mean this, all the 5s mean this, I've just never internalized that, and it kind of makes me sad. But we're going to read anyway. So intuitively, 6 of Pentacles talks about payment, money exchanged. Something that's due. I owe you this, I give it to you. Or something that is given out of generosity and charity. With my Hanson Roberts deck in my my business days, the 6 of Pentacles would talk to me about money that's not worked for. So either somebody paying you a loan, a gift, dividends, inheritances, things like that. It was money that came not from work. But let's read. Okay, and we definitely have, let's look at this too. We have 3 rods, we have 2 cups, we have 1 pentacle, we have no swords. So predominantly we have the suit of fire, the suit of rods here. So we're talking about the creative. Right behind that is the emotional, and the least of it, and on the left side, which means passing away, is the 6 of Pentacles with no swords, no air, no discernment, no, it's not an intellectual thing. It's about creativity and the emotions and what kind of resources we're coming from. All right, so the golden scales of equality hover in a starry sky. Each cup of the scale contains 3 pentacles. The scales are in perfect balance. Meanings: presence, gifts, equality, justice, prosperity. Reverse is desire, envy, jealousy, illusion. So we're talking about, presents and gifts, things that aren't worked for. So a bonus. We've got a bonus of resources here. Then 6 of rods. A horseman in golden armor carries a staff topped by a laurel wreath, the symbol of triumph and learning. Meanings: victory, great news, expectation, hope, knowledge. Reverse is apprehension, fear, treachery, disloyalty, indefinite delay. Then the Three of Rods. A calm, stately man looks across the sea where a boat sails slowly. A crescent moon hangs upside down in the night sky. Meanings: strength, enterprise, effort, trade, commerce, discovery, able cooperation in business. Reverse: the end of troubles, cessation of adversity, toil and disappointments, a new and successful beginning. So we've got gifts and equality. So all resources being equal here. There is a success and a movement forward, an achievement. And then Three of Rods talks about in business or launching a project, enterprise, effort. So this is kind of like a new effort on the heels of a success that you've already had. There's been gain and balance as far as your resources go. And we're moving forward with a great deal of confidence with past successes under our belt and planning something new, launching something new into the future. I'm very aware that this top line has 2 cards going towards the future side of things. Then we have the Five of Rods. 5 youths brandishing staves, not as in battle, but as in sport. It is a sham fight, a rehearsal for adulthood. Meanings: strenuous competition and struggle for riches and fortune. It is the battle of life. See, the riches and fortune part I don't really get, because that you're talking about pentacles and stuff. But rods is effort, actually doing it. It's raw energy. And in the Five of Rods, it talks about using that energy to just play against each other, to try in a mock kind of thing, to compete, this card can talk to me sometimes about a lot of effort being put forth, but it's not coordinated. It's not according to a plan. So, strenuous competition, struggle for riches and fortune. It's a battle of life. Reverse is litigation, disputes, trickery, deception, and contradiction. Okay, let's just keep reading and then we will pull it together. 9 of Cups. A man who loves to eat is surrounded by a feast, and golden cups of wine are behind him. Meanings: contentment, good future, physical well-being, victory, success, satisfaction. Reverse: mistakes, imperfections, worries for the future. And then the 4 of Cups at the very end. A young man is seated under a fruiting tree, and he contemplates 4 cups on the grass before him. His expression is one of confusion and discontent. Meanings: weariness, disgust, aversion. Reverse is novelty, new direction, and change. Okay, so very interesting, because we've come from this place of balanced resources and moving forward, feeling successful, having a new plan to launch. And then we come down into uncoordinated efforts, immature efforts that are just, I'm going to tangle for tangling's sake, argue for argument's sake. And I'm feeling kind of smug about things, and there's sort of a glut. So we have this evenly balanced resources here, and then we get to this self-satisfied sort of gluttony. And then at the bottom, we're kind of confused and disillusioned and grumpy. Wow. All right, give me a hot second here. I mean, it can talk, if you look at the collective, where we came from a place of things kind of moving in the direction towards equality, where things are balanced for everyone and we have new plans to launch. But then we get into just this juvenile tangle. And it's about one person having it all. Gosh, what am I talking about here, you guys? Things as they have always been. So, yeah. And what does this lead to? The direction that we're heading. Just disappointment. We're worn out. we're absolutely tapped out. What's the phrase I'm looking for here? Burnout. This is burnout. All right, now I'm going to take more cards on these last three, and we also want to look for a major. So there's the King of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and the Ten of Rods. Oh my goodness. So this is, I'm just going to go intuitively here, mastery of money, juggling of money, somebody that really is not juvenile but needs to take hold of the purse strings and take some responsibility, valor, deep intelligence, business and intellectual aptitude, mathematical gifts, success in these matters. So we need to just leave behind the childish wrangling and the, opposing each other just for the fun of the opposition, and step up and become more mature, apply our mathematical gifts, intellectual aptitude to gain success. And then the Two of Pentacles on top of that Nine of Cups. The curious young man gazes upon two floating pentacles, which are connected by the figure 8 symbol of infinity. Gaiety, recreation, relief from labors. Simulated enjoyment, forced gaiety, false happiness. See, I always looked at that as kind of a juggling of resources. Or we could say on top of the Nine of Cups, yes, I have everything I need, but rather than sitting on it and being smug, I'm going to weigh things out and decide where it goes. That sort of echoes that Six of Pentacles. And then we've got Ten of Rods. A sad man carries 10 long flowering staves. They are ungainly and are weighing him down. He is surrounded by thorny brambles. Fortune, gains, success, and the oppression of these things, the burdens of materialism. Reverse says contrary things, difficulties, intrigues, and deceptions. Okay, so ultimately here, we really are looking at our materialistic side, and even though we've got like good resources and victory, and we're moving forward with this wonderful plan, we've got these immature elements and elements of greed and self-satisfaction that kind of take us in the direction of just downfall and disappointment. But if we bring in maturity and acumen, experience, skill, and a more of a balanced approach, we still are absolutely weighed down by all of this. Oh my gosh, let's look for the first. Oh my gosh. And the first the first major is death. All right. So many thoughts going through my head right now, you guys. A mysterious skeletal horseman carries a black banner bearing the white rose of life. We see a ravaged landscape behind, like the ancient earth before man. He rides a pale stallion, strong and unafraid. Snakes twine in and out of the horseman's robes, and he stares out at us. This card relates to card 12 in that death is part of life, a passage to another place. Meanings: mortality, destruction, corruption, reverse, sleep, lethargy, and loss of hope. So this struggle that we have, and I'm aware that I'm going to look at the Queen of Cups too. She is beautiful, fair, dreamy. She's thinking of visions in her golden cup. She dreams, but also acts on the dream. Good, fair woman, honest, devoted. She is loving intelligence with the gift of vision. Success, happiness, pleasure, wisdom, virtue, a perfect spouse, and a good mother. Reverse is a woman not to be trusted, vice, dishonor, and depravity. So we go from, these men planning, competing, bearing these burdens, to this, let's just adjust the vision here. What exactly are we after? And the death card coming at the end here says that we need to be thinking bigger. Something must end. Something absolutely must end. The death card is saying before we think about moving forward with new plans and things, we've really got to dial in on what has got to go. And what has got to go is the rampant death and destruction. The rampant death and destruction for the sake of of warring and competing, the sake of feeding the war machine, the sake of feeding our own gluttonous emotional needs. Here at the top, the highest level, equity with resources and looking at where we've been successful in the path and launching a plan towards this future, but we sink down into this more materialistic way of being. The Ten of Rods certainly says there's a burden to be carried here. And we need to be able to dream something different and unburden ourselves from the things that really must die for good and forever. Hoo-wee! Well, that was light, right? What do you think, you guys? It's a gorgeous deck. I absolutely adore the artwork, and I am so happy to have this deck as part of my US Games collection, that era, that 80s, 90s era of decks. I don't think I'm missing many of them now, but I just love them. Let me know what you think down below. Hit the like and subscribe on your way out and the bell so you'll know when I drop something, and I will see you next time on an unboxing or live stream. Until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.